and welcome to another Army Showcase. And I've got Matthew Beavis. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, that's right.
Matthew Beavis here with his Goblin Guard. Welcome to this episode of an Army Showcase. We are very excited. We have had this army on the channel once before, back in our first season, and it was a hit. People loved it, and we said, we gotta have you back on. And he said, no, not until I paint more. And I said, okay, fine, come on later. He said, no, not until I paint more. And then finally, you came back on, and you have some beautiful stuff here. Why did you start collecting Goblin Guard?
I think the number one thing is a fan of the underdogs, you know? You gotta go for the smallest, most weakest, most downtrodden race in the galaxy. And barring Squigs and Tau, obviously.
Oh, ouch.
You gotta go with the Grots. So a lot of these models I've had in cupboards, packed under the stairs at my mum's place in Australia. And I just brought them out and decided to give them a refresh. So.
Well, it's like you just woke up one morning and said, you know what, I'm gonna convert some Imperial Guard to Goblins.
Well, I was generally in 6th and 7th edition chasing the meta, and I'll quickly build 10 Fire Warriors or 10 Necron Warriors, and then it'll all move on. And I got really upset because I'd have half-finished armies all over the place. And I just thought, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get my old looted wagons out. I'm gonna paint them up. I'm gonna paint 60 Grots. I'm gonna throw down with the Astra Militarum Codex, have a bit of fun with it, and then build some heavy weapon teams. And then all of a sudden, Games Workshop just spoke to me and started releasing all the Blood Bowl Goblin set, and that's where they see the Cadians have come from.
Which guys?
These guys with the helmets.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Cadian Grots, they're all Blood Bowl Goblins. And
oh, I see. Yeah, I see that guy right there with the spiked shoulder plate.
the problem being that they only have 2 left hands that are open in the whole pack, so I had to learn to green stuff copy left hands. I hate the others. So I had a lot of fun with that. And then they released more Age of Sigmar stuff. So these are actually the new dwarf ones. That's the Archanaut company.
Okay.
They're all little mining dwarves, and I've just put goblin hats on them and swapped over the Scion shoulder plates.
Wow, you actually did a great job of that. I never would have actually seen that.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. But you end up with this chunky looking grot, and you're like, oh, I'll just trim a little bit off and a little bit off and shorten this and squeeze that together. And the real secret for me was pinning it all, because you can, as you know, with super glue, you can just break it and put it back together.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so from what I understand, you have a lore to this army, like the story behind what this army is and why are there Grots in Imperial Guard clothing?
So basically Grots are pretty sneaky and they like to steal things. So they're always like hanging around orcs and like stealing the lesser weapons. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun if they went and stole all of the equipment from the Imperial Guard or Astra Militarum? And that's the basic premise of it, whether or not you believe the orc lore, and if they believe they're Imperial Guard, they are Imperial Guard, and they obviously worship the Emperor because they've got all the Aquillas everywhere. But the other side of it is, back in 2nd edition, one of my favorite models was a Runterd, which is down here. And his Zodgrot Wartsnagger is his name, and he was basically so upset with an orc firing his Gretchen and Snotlings through weapons, which is one of the shock attack guns in the Orc Codex, that he fired that mech through his own shock attack gun and got banned completely from the orcs forever. So he read up on an older Runterd who he read about, ringing bells and feeding special squigs to it, and basically trained these super Grots. Now that is lore. There are super Grots, super Gretchens, super Runts, and you could field them with upgraded statistics in the old Orc Codex. So I thought, why not use that? I acquired that model, painted it up. I use him as Commissar Yarrick, and Commissar Yarrick has a Stormbolter and a Power Claw, and lo and behold, we have the Commissar Yarrick with the green skin.
I just love it. It's so silly and zany, and it's just like, it's what 40K can be.
Exactly.
The hobby can be whatever you want it to be, and you can really customize an army to as far as you want, and you have exemplified that right here. Like, how many hours do you think is here?
It's about 3 years, and I average 20 minutes a night before the kids are in bed, but I've taken models on planes. I go for training interstate, and I'll spend the whole week in the hotel painting away. And I've actually had paints confiscated by TFSA. I packed them all in the little bag and said, no, the bag's too big. I'm like, but the milliliters, I had this argument with them, and eventually throwing out Goblin Green, throwing out this. I know.
Those are expensive.
Well, it's a little bit left, and I thought, I threw out a couple of golds because it's one of the final highlights, and I wanted to break the back of that particular squad. So I've actually taken vacation days, and I work as a mechanic. So you're in the workshop, people are fixing cars, whatever, and you're gluing little models and painting stuff. People are like, what is that guy doing? But it was a lot of fun. So
being a mechanic, is that partially what led you to the guard as well?
I think so. Yeah, I've always liked tanks, vehicles. These three Leman Russ have been with me for 15 plus years. I think this one on the end's had its third paint job and hopefully final paint job.
It looks great.
Thank you. Thank you. That's got the back of the sponsons on the back, and that's a shortened battle.
Oh, it is. You're right. You took a battle wagon turret and put it on top of the Leman Russ. Yeah. It's subtle, but it makes a big difference.
Yeah. So the other key thing for me is I want to be able to take this to a tournament. I want to be able to take this to a Games Workshop. So every single thing here is Games Workshop. I know it doesn't look it, but
it's all there.
So a couple of the favorite models that people point out to me, there's a Commissar, Lord Commissar over there. That's two Grots.
It's two Grots standing on top of each other.
They're from an old Forge World kit. And then the newer version is over here. It's just a normal, regular Commissar, and he's one of the new Underworlds kits, where you get the two Grots together.
It's so good.
Had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah. And you've done a great job. Like, even though it is Goblin Guard, it is fairly clear what everything is. And you've even gone to the extent of putting name tags where it might be a little hazy.
That was the idea.
Yeah. Like, I feel like I can look at this and understand basically what it is. You've got your guard, you've got your infantry, you've got your tanks. Like, it's fairly clear, even down to the sentinels that are actually copters.
Well, they've had a few questions, but yes, they've got the only thing that can have plasma cannons is the armored sentinel, so I made sure to put all the armors on it and everything, and I even tried to sort of heighten the normal sentinel and a helicopter next to it.
It looks so good! It looks so good.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
All right, walk me through your army. Walk me through the different units and kind of how you created them. So right here we got a Basilisk.
Yes, that's the oldest tank I have. I lost the coupler or shield or what have you on the front, and again the Blood Bowl team was released, and inside was a little tiny snotling or goblin is actually use him as the ball in Blood Bowl.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd just put the flying helmet out of the Dakar jet on there and have a bit of fun with it. He's got a couple more Gretchen crew behind there, so they're sort of.
Yeah, they're holding. They look like they're working hard. Yeah. And I love these. These are basically you're using them as Ogren.
Yeah, they're Bullgrins. Yep. So they've got the Bullgrin weapons. People are like, oh, you should do the bigger spikes, bigger clubs, and I want it to be very much like this. This is the army, the Astra Militarum Codex.
Yeah.
A little bit of the fun I had was the leader I used. He's carrying an Imperial Guardsman. His helmet.
He is. Yeah.
That was sort of I don't know. I was going to model a Tau on it, as I mentioned, but
I'm glad you didn't.
So they're one of the new Troggoth models. Again, I had no idea what I was going to do. Had a bit of trouble in our previous battle report holding back all the Dark Angels, and I thought, well, I need a big bully unit in the middle.
Yep.
And then the Trolls were released, and I thought, well, I reckon I can fandangle it. And they are really tricky to make. So the torso of the Bullgrin is much smaller than the Troll, so I had to expand it all out, and they're actually hollow on the inside. Wow. And there's about ½ an inch of green stuff work to match all of the.
You did a great job. It is so seamless.
Thank you. Yeah, and I used a sea turtle as a reference photo for painting.
I like it.
So that was good fun. That was good fun. I was scratching my head, and as I said, I don't have much hobby time, so I'll sort of spend 2 weeks thinking about what I'll do, and then 20 minutes just trying it out, and it works. Yeah. So it works out well. Yeah.
All right, and over here we obviously have a Baneblade. Sorry, not a Baneblade.
Shadow Sword.
A Shadow Sword. Yes. A Baneblade variant.
Yeah. So the other history to the army is I have sort of a Cold War escalation with a friend of mine, a regular opponent of about 13 years now, I think, since I moved to Vancouver. And he was bringing the big knights, the Castellan, is it?
Oh, the really big one. Really big one.
Yeah. And I need something to kill him with. So I put that down, and I gave the wallet old grudges, reroll wounds, and I sort of give vengeance for Cadia and all this, that, the other. And in a future battle, I'm hoping to sort of pop the Relic of Lost Cadia, or in my case, Stolen Cadia.
So did it work?
It did. It did. We had a lot of fun. We had about 3 or 4 games, and 50-50, it'd go down in one turn, and then his other knights would walk all over me. So it was good fun. I remember once he sort of kicked it and flipped it over, and we had a lot of fun, but I hadn't painted the bottom yet.
And then, of course, we've got, these are Scions, right?
That's right. They're the drop troop infantry.
And those are the ones that you did the dwarf feet on there?
Yep.
And then these are more Scions here?
a couple more sounds in the back. There's a command squad with a couple of extra weapons that I just swap in and out. And now another fun unit that I built was all the characters, obviously, and they're using...
You've done such a great job.
Gobbapalooza is a weird kit. It's sort of like goblins eating mushrooms, riding mushrooms, and all magical fun things. So you see there's a very large guy.
Psyker.
I modelled him after my game with Chris Jones when the head exploded. And I said, well, he's back. He's just sort of...
Right, he exploded his head. I forgot about that.
In the first turn. Yeah, and then moving over, the heavy weapons are all very old metal heavy weapons from 3rd edition, 2nd, 3rd edition.
I like that style.
Official Games Workshop. I think the older style, like the older Lehman Russes, they're slightly different.
These really have evocative like desert combat from World War II kind of thing. Yeah, they're very cool.
Fun, very military. And then the red gobbo here is an old...
The red gobbo, yeah.
That I hacked to bits. And got quite a lot of flack on the internet for, but I bought him specifically to hack him to bits.
Because he was a rare model, was he not?
Quite a rare model.
And then people were very sad to see you hack him apart.
A little bit. I think he's perfect for, he's got the big jacket on, so he's good for being...
No, I think he did great. And then this is your company commander, is it not?
That's the Scion...
Tempester Prime. That's right. There you go.
Yeah. So he's got the big rod of office.
So where is your warlord? Where is your...
The warlord is Yarrick.
Oh, is Yarrick, of course.
Yeah. And I pre-purchased a number of bases, and as you say, I've been like, no, I've got to finish all these characters off. And the last one that I didn't really know what to do, and I've seen a couple of much better Goblin conversions of, was Castellan Creed, who...
Oh, yeah.
When Cadia fell.
Yeah.
And I had a bit of fun with it and made 2 little snotlings, just having a bit of a laugh. Nice. Because I feel he just stands back and overlooks everything anyway. And when people have issue with it, I say, no, that's not Castellan. That's two snotlings, Castellan and Creed.
You're talking about this guy right here.
That's right.
Yeah. That's really good.
Yeah, so fun. And the last one I did was the Sentinels. We talked about those. They're a lot of fun. So.
And those are all the front. Are you running those as guardsmen or are those conscripts?
No, I run them as conscripts, but they were initially when I build a few tanks, build a few heavy weapon squads, and they use them as conscripts. But now I've got what I thought was enough infantry squads, but I think I need a few more, definitely for 9th edition.
9th edition seems to like its infantry for Imperial Guard for sure.
Yeah, but now I've modelled everything perfectly to the Codex, so that throwing some grots in there seems a bit sacrilegious. Not that the whole army isn't a bit of fun.
You have any stories from a game that you'd like to share? Like, has anyone ever come up and... Like, is there...
I think the main thing for me is when I'm at Games Workshop, without the grots in the front and without the trolls, if you cast your eye past the table, oh, it's just a bright blue Astra Militarum army.
Yeah.
And then the sort of looks on people's faces and they're like, hang on a minute.
Wait a minute.
And then the sort of cogs start turning and they're like, but that's not, oh no it is. And then they'll look at, they ask lots of questions. It's lots of fun, yeah. I like that sort of, I don't know, to use a sort of recent term, spark joy. So you don't just paint it off the box and have a bit of fun with it. I know people like kit bashing and it can grow and grow and grow, and it's actually my 25th year doing Warhammer.
Wow, so definitely longer than myself.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and it's really nice, again, instead of chasing the meta, to sort of put your mind to something. I know that Max, the best thing I can convert, the best thing I can paint, and just enjoy the army for life. It's a bit like, I don't know, being a mechanic, you sort of, people 8-10 years for a project car, and then they have this wonderful gleaming car, and they'll pass it on to their kids.
That's fantastic. So tell me about these ones here. So you got a Taurox here?
Yeah, that's a Taurox. That's actually the bottom of a Goliath truck with the top of a Taurox. So
much better. I don't like the treads myself.
I didn't like the treads, and I thought I was going to put wheels on it. I might as well make it shorter so the goblins can get in. So again, in game you think, oh, I'll just put some more guns on the side, make a Taurox Prime, but I really like the sort of simple basic look to it, and sort of hides in the corner. And when people are running a lot of Vindicators and Snipers, I can just put the characters in. So. And the other one here is the Tank Commander. Obviously, he's got a really big plasma cannon. That's a very old.
Oh yeah, that's like
Forge World.
That's very old.
So you put the big mask on and drill out the middle when you're drilling out the resin, and put the Goblin on top.
So cool.
And the mechanic reference on the back is the jumpstart battery, because it's not working. Just in case, pre-battle they have to jump it.
Yeah, there we go. Just in case, you never know. So because they're all blue, they're all lucky, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So blue with the Orc Codex, or Orcs in general, is thought of as like the lucky color, and also something you would paint when you steal it. So the Death Skulls. Yeah. So I had initially envisioned, I would use these looted wagons and the goblins, and then they took looted wagons out, made them legends, and that actually shaped a lot of my choices. I wanted something just from the Astra Militarum Codex. So one of the things I always wanted to do was the Squig Riders. But they're legends now, and other people have gone on to do wonderful Squig Riders, so I think that's their own thing, and I'll stick with this. I think I would like to take some of the Gene Stealer bikes.
Oh, they're so cool. I love them so much.
Doing the stunt tricks on those.
Well, use them as
just as Rough Riders.
Rough Riders, yes, of course.
Yeah.
That would be very cool.
Yeah.
I can imagine them being like, the handlebars way up here.
We can have like a couple of them hanging off the side.
Maybe there's like 5 on a bike and just all hold it on.
So when I got to a certain point, I thought, is this it or should I keep going? And one of the fun models I did was the representing of the machine god, the little goblin down there.
Oh, this is your mechanic? Yeah, the tech priest.
Tech priest. So I thought, well, if I get some night goblins, I can make a whole Mechanicum army. And then I thought, no, I can't do another army again. Can't do it. That much converting just nearly killed me. So.
Yet you are working on another army right now.
I am.
So
yeah.
Right now you're working on some sisters.
That's right. The new, again, this army sort of started with an old collection, and then I worked in some newer stuff. But I want to start brand new latest. And then the plastics and the sisters are absolutely amazing.
They're so cool.
Beautiful.
We are waiting for someone to finish the sisters army and do them nicely and come on the channel. Is that you?
I think that is. I'd like a few more games under my belt. I've got about 750 points, so halfway there. But,
okay.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable doing the tanks. The tanks I think would be too much. But
all right, so I'll just give you a couple months and you'll come back on the channel.
All infantry will do it.
So if somebody wants to get into converting, get any tips for like where should they start when you're doing an army this different from the classics?
I think probably start one unit at a time, and I bought one box of Blood Bowl goblins, and I built 3 different goblins, tried a backpack, tried the little water bottle, tried the weapons different ways, and I worked out what I liked. And then I went ahead and built another unit, and just do that. Otherwise, you'll end up with a whole lot of bits everywhere. And the other thing with bits is you have a tendency to hang on to them forever, at least I do, and thought, oh, I'll just use that for this project, and I'll save the good ones for next time. And for this was the first project where I just sat down and said, I will use all my best bits and make the best models I can, and then get rid of the bits that left over.
He donated them to Steve, actually.
Yeah. So Steve has got quite a few old Astra Militarum bits and pieces, so I think he's going to a friend and a couple of Space Marines as well. So for me, it's really nice to sort of round off a whole project, have an army, and then move on to the next thing. Because I had so many half-finished projects, I just was so upset by it. Sort of open the drawers, I'm looking for that one goblin, I'll throw this tower army over my shoulder and Necrons, and oh, I found the goblin. Oh, man.
So you mentioned kids. You're a fairly new dad, correct?
Fairly new. I have 3 kids under 4, so pretty busy.
That's very similar to me. I have 3 kids under 5. So
yeah. So you can imagine they're always asking questions and wanting to do this, and they'll pick up this and twist the wheel, and off it goes. I had to have a bit of a laugh about it. And as I was mentioning pre-show, everything is pinned, so you can pretty much drop all of these off a table, and they should bounce without breaking. No, please don't do it. But
Warhammer dadding is tough. It's fun, but it's tough.
It is, and I think orcs, when I was a kid getting into it, was sort of a fun way of doing things, and orcs are fun. They're silly and they do all this wacky stuff. Yeah. And that was fun and good relief, but I think painting the sisters during a pandemic was actually quite tough, because you're sort of painting this guy strapped into this thing, and his life is flashing before him, and you're like, oh, what am I doing? I should go to bed. This is terrible. You pick up a goblin, you're like, oh, this is fun. Yeah, I painted a little mushroom. Have him throwing this launching out of the cannon and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been good to paint this particular army while having the kids around, because they're always interested in having a look. Yeah. We're not quite yet putting paint to colour, because we've got 3 of them and the little one on the floor and stuff like that. But looking forward to it one day. We'll have them back for season 12 or
so
something
cool.
like that.
I had 3 kids in the hope that at least one of them would play with me.
One. I think I know which one it is, but
well, thanks for joining us. Okay, I've got one last question for you, unless you have anything else to add.
Good.
I have one last question for you. So these grots, do they think they're grots, or do they think they're Imperial Guard?
They think they're Imperial Guard.
Okay.
They definitely think they're Imperial Guard. He's such a good trainer of grots that they believe in the Emperor, fight like the Astra Militarum, and they reroll ones like Cadians, and that's how I roll them.
Well, it's one of the most fun armies I've ever seen, and we're going to be having a game soon after this.
Looking forward to it.
I'm going to play my Tau against this, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah. I'm a little nervous.
Well, my regular opponent said he just looks at the army and laughs, and then once it starts shooting, he can't laugh anymore. So hopefully we'll see what happens.
How can you kill this stuff?
I know. And with enough vehicles, there's lots of explosions happening. That will be good.
Oh, I'm looking for it. Lots of explosions. Yeah. Lots of explosions. Anyways, well, you want to do the sign off with me? So basically, you say, until we see you next time, play on. And you join with and play on. All right, Chris couldn't do it.
Okay,
so let's see what happens. All right. And until we see you next time, play on. Oh, come on, man! You did that on purpose. All right, until we see you next time, play on. Awesome. All right, great. That was fun.